This training video is going to look at collaborative research. This is research that is often done in collaboration between research-intensive organizations such as maybe academia and research institutes and similar, and perhaps heritage organizations, local authorities, or maybe policymakers. It is nowadays not only important to secure success of the research that we have been funded to do, but also to increase impact of such research, and that can be successfully achieved through collaborative research. The video consists of several statements with commentary, and there is a list of reading at the end. I hope you'll enjoy the video and good luck with your research.
Why undertake collaborative research? The answer is simple. Cultural heritage is being impacted by a range of very complex challenges: technological, environmental, social, and these can't be informed fully through a single disciplinary lens. A multidisciplinary approach is essential to understanding and tackling these problems now and in the future. There are other factors at play that contribute to a collaborative heritage science research environment. It's now commonplace for practitioners and the public to be actively involved in collaborative research, both in terms of contributing to and leading research within the academic corridors and beyond. It's important to remember that research is a dynamic process, and while it's important to publish in high-impact journals, it's also increasingly common for funders and the public to want to understand the impact of research, both social, environmental, and economic, in the long term. And this requires a greater understanding of practitioner communities, all operating with a different level of expertise. Given the evolution taking place in the research ecosystem, it's essential to understand the components that make for really effective collaborative research. Those factors that enable good collaboration and those factors that hinder collaboration. Those key elements will be presented here.
We have seen in Nancy's opening statement that collaborative research is becoming more and more important. It could be argued that nowhere more so than in heritage science, simply because of the complex research questions that we need to deal with. In order to perform research successfully, therefore, we need to involve not just complex interdisciplinarity, but also various stakeholder organizations. This might involve research with different communities of practice or different communities of research, but also, for example, with citizens, say in citizen heritage science projects. We do this in order to ensure that our research has proper impact, and it is by far most effective to involve stakeholders in the development of the research context and in the development of research questions, in the research methodology, and in the design of research outcomes. In the following, we're going to look at a few statements provided by successful collaborative researchers. What hindrances, but also what drivers of collaborative research they experienced, and what made their research particularly successful.
Loïc Bertrand, and I have been the director for 10 years of Ipanema, which is a CNRS Ancient Materials Laboratory. What is for me very interesting is the initiation phase of projects. So if I take one example, we've been involved, for instance, in the study of fossil specimens from natural history collections, looking at their composition, and from their composition, understanding both better their morphology, to understand how they relate to other species, but also looking at past environmental information on climate and the environmental conditions they were living, and also their conservation states. What is very interesting in our topics is that the motivations are very different from one collaborator to the others. So people coming to our facility come with an idea in mind, and mostly they want to make an analysis to have a response to one question they have. And what we found repeatedly is that actually this expectation will move a lot. And so often we start by discussing about this question and asking a lot of questions. And these questions are very important in defining how the project is going to evolve. And most of the time, after one or two meetings, we do something quite different from the initial aim. So it's very different to what we may think initially, which is that somebody is asking a question, a tool is answering this question. It's not like that in practice. So what we see is actually somebody comes with a question, and this is a starting point for a collaboration.
We have seen that researchers become involved in collaborative research projects for various different reasons. Sometimes we need access to excellent laboratories, and sometimes we need access to fantastic heritage collections. More often than not, academic researchers are primarily interested in high-impact publications, whereas practice-led researchers are sometimes interested in new practices, new treatments that will make their life easier during daily routine. It is very important to understand those motives when we design a collaborative project, because our research has shown a particular imbalance in that academic researchers are more often satisfied with outcomes of collaborative research projects, also because impact takes a much longer time to achieve in stakeholder organizations.
My name is Cecilia Benvibre, and I am a postdoctoral researcher at UCL Institute for Sustainable Heritage. I recently completed my PhD entitled Smell of Heritage at UCL CIHA. This was a project looking at the role of olfaction in cultural heritage, and it developed a framework for the identification, analysis, and documentation of olfactory heritage. This was a very collaborative and interdisciplinary piece of research involving an academic partner, which was UCL, a heritage partner, the National Trust, and an industry partner, another analysis company called OdorNet. Due to my interest in looking at olfaction in heritage from many different perspectives, the project involved methodologies from analytical chemistry, psychology, social sciences, and sensory sciences. There are many advantages to conducting collaborative research in heritage science. In my case, there was the possibility of looking at my research questions for many different perspectives, and there was a huge potential for knowledge exchange during the project. As an early career researcher, there are also hindrances or challenges to such a collaborative project. In my case, I found two main of these challenges. One of them was dealing with different working cultures in industry, in a heritage organization, and in academia, and keeping focus on the priorities and the aims of the project. The other big challenge was managing everyone's expectations, so communication with all the stakeholders and the objective of developing our own collaborative model within this piece of research, so our priorities could somehow be aligned, was essential. Having developed collaborative research in heritage science has given me, I feel, a huge opportunity of understanding my research field holistically, and therefore planning where I can make meaningful contributions with research projects in the future.
Team diversity and project complexity are known to be extremely important in collaborative research. We know that it's very important to have a diverse team in terms of experience, but we also know that more seasoned researchers usually have a better understanding of interdisciplinarity and are more enthusiastic about collaborative research. This is probably also because early-stage researchers are more interested in the development of their careers, and this is usually more straightforward if those careers are disciplinary. However, in order to increase the diversity more effectively, it is often beneficial to involve an advisory board. Different advisory board members can bring different expertise and level of expertise into the project and can increase its impact very efficiently. We also know that large and complex projects work less well for collaborative research and have been shown to be less successful in terms of their achievement of impact than smaller and medium-sized projects. It is also known, on the basis of research, that projects with more than 4 disciplines are seen as less successful than those with less disciplines, and projects with more than 15 researchers are often more difficult to manage, and it is often more difficult to achieve impact and success in such projects.
So I am Costanza Miliani, I am a heritage scientist. Currently I am the coordinator of MOLAB, that is the European platform of mobile laboratories working all over Europe. I am also the director of Institute for Heritage Science at the CNR in Italy. I have to say that I led or participated to a lot of projects, and those projects that produce valuable results in terms of science but also impact on the field are those carried out in a collaborative way. An example of this type of collaborative way is a project I participated in about color change in paintings, and that means that there are a lot of different disciplines inside this type of collaborative project, from material science, that is my own discipline, but also physics to explore synchrotron radiation analysis and facility to resolve the materials composition inside painting and how these materials change, but also conservators that are the first specialists that may see this changing on the painting. Dealing with such huge and interdisciplinary project, what is very important is to enable trust between people from different disciplines, and this has to be obtained starting from the beginning. So really from the beginning of the project, the different scientists that are involved in the research, together with the conservator and curator, have to sit together to share the problem and the knowledge. So this takes time. This is, I think, is the main hindrance of the process, because really we have to understand that this process takes time. So maybe the project can be longer, 1 year, just because we have really to understand the different problem behind, coming from different angle of different discipline.
Costanza's statement stressed another really important aspect of collaborative research, in that it often takes more time. It takes time to bridge those differences that sometimes may be as simple as geographic, but are very often related to different working cultures. For example, in many research projects, academic researchers communicate their findings in a way that may be completely incomprehensible to practice-led researchers, and sometimes vice versa. We need time to develop a common understanding of the research problems, a common understanding of our work cultures, and a common language. And it is therefore extremely beneficial if collaborative research projects are preceded by a networking initiative in order to develop those joint and shared working cultures.
Hello, I'm Polonca Ropret. I work for the Institute for the Protection of Cultural Heritage of Slovenia, and I'm the head of Research Institute there. Well, we have been working in heritage science in several European projects and also national projects. And maybe one to mention is the project HeroMat, which was financed by the 7th framework program. We had there a case study at Dornava Manor when we wanted to conduct a research and collaborative research, of course, with different institutions, considering the consolidation of the outside elements of the manor and cleaning procedures of the manor. The partners of the project were Technical University of Novi Sad, who was coordinator of the project, and National Civil and Engineering Building Institute from Slovenia, with scientists that all with different backgrounds come and join forces in this project concerning the consolidation of the outside elements in the Dornava Manor and also the cleaning of the Dornava Manor. This was also very important for us because cleaning of art objects is one of the most important research strategies that at our institute we are dealing with.
Polonca pointed to another really important aspect of collaborative projects in that they often need to deal with diverse institutional strategies. Academic organizations are often curiosity-led, whereas heritage organizations may be exhibition-led. And companies, for example, may be interested in product development, and all of those activities may be extremely different in terms of timelines of delivery. Academic research projects typically take 2 to 3 years to deliver. An exhibition program may be shorter than that, may have a shorter turnover, whereas product development and innovation in companies have much shorter timelines. And in collaborative projects, it is often difficult to make them work coherently. It is often essential to invite senior managers, for example, curators or estates managers, to take part in advisory boards in order to make those institutional strategies clear. It would be, of course, beneficial if all non-research-led organizations had their institutional strategies published, for example, on their website, so that while a collaborative project is being developed, those institutional strategies can be taken into account. On top of all this, it has been shown that collaborative research projects are most successful where there is a level of trust among researchers. Of course, all research projects require a consortium agreement in order to clarify, for example, issues related to confidentiality or intellectual property rights, but it is also extremely important for trust to be developed among researchers themselves. For that to be achieved, an instrument is available that could be used more often, for example, secondment of researchers between organizations. This enables researchers to understand faster and more effectively what the institutional strategies are and what the institutional cultures are that need to be bridged. So in the end, we may finish our collaborative research project. We've delivered a number of successful outcomes, but we now feel that a lot more impact could be achieved. It is very common for collaborative research projects to have follow-ups. These are simply to ensure that research outcomes achieve the attention that they deserve and that they achieve the impact. Unfortunately, we still don't have very good measures of impact, particularly in collaborative and interdisciplinary research projects, and that has been shown to be a major hindrance. How impact is achieved is another really complex topic, and we will address it in a future module. We've come to the end of this module, which I hope you enjoyed. A lot of the knowledge came from a collaborative research project funded by the UK Arts and Humanities Research Council, and the project was called Mind the Gap. The report under bullet point 1 is freely available and of course contains much more in-depth information. A lot of it was developed on the back of interviews with more than 200 collaborative researchers, in which we were specifically interested in the hindrances and of course at the benefits of collaborative research in the UK and across the European continent. Here is a short checklist, hopefully of help to anyone wanting to develop a collaborative research proposal, but perhaps even to funding agencies wanting to develop, for example, heritage science funding programs. I hope you enjoy this training, and I wish you all the luck in the world with your collaborative research. Thank you.